Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tales Unplugged. We're diving into episode 14, Alex's Poor Box of Food. And let me tell you, the title alone really got me thinking. This episode, it feels like it's going to dig into those unspoken social rules, especially around like wealth and status.
It is fascinating how this episode, it uses food, something we usually think of as like generous, sharing. But here, it kind of highlights the divides between people. Remember that over-the-top lunch with Alex and Ken and the whole East Coast team at the Golden Mansion Hotel?
Oh, absolutely. That scene, it was like dripping with descriptions of caviar and champagne and like those ridiculously priced steaks.
Yeah.
You practically taste the extravagance.
Exactly. And now cut to Alex showing up at the hospital with a box of leftovers.
From that meal. And he's thinking of his roommates, right? Wants to share. On the surface, totally kind.
Yeah.
But the second he walks into Rose's hospital room, things get complicated. Because Rose's friends are there, and let's face it, they're all about appearances. That box of, let's be real, gourmet leftovers.
Yeah.
It's like a source of panic for Rose. She's mortified that they might think she asked for it. Or worse, like, needs it.
And her friends' reactions, oof, they don't hold back. Immediately assuming it's like cheap takeout, making comments about the supposed fried rice. It's such a clear sign that their idea of generosity, or even just like basic decency, totally skewed by their own wealth. They can't even fathom that what Alex brought is actually, incredibly expensive.
And poor Alex, right? He tries to explain, no, it's for my roommates. But Rose cuts him off, so worried about how this looks in front of them. The irony is, Zane, the guy who caused her accident, sitting right there, treated like royalty.
And that is the core of it, isn't it? Zane equals wealth and influence, even if it's all a facade, at least for now. Rose is so busy trying to maintain her own image, her own place in that world, that she overlooks Zane's blunder. But Alex's genuine act of kindness, that's what embarrasses her.
It's wild. Like, Alex is genuinely trying to be thoughtful, but it backfires so hard because it doesn't fit their narrow definition of impressive. Honestly, part of me wonders if, like, a bouquet of gold-plated roses would have gone over better with this crowd.
Yeah, it's like she's so caught up in this system, so desperate to project this image of like, I belong here, that she can't even see who these people really are. And then bam, enter Sue. Total game changer.
Oh man, tell me about it. Sue walks in and she's all business, laser focused on Zane. And you could tell right from that first look, she's not buying his act, not for a second.
It's such a great moment because unlike Rose and her friends, Sue's got this like immunity to Zane's whole charade. She's seen enough to know that real power doesn't need to brag.
Exactly. She just cuts right through it, calls him out right there on his supposed heroism, especially when it comes to their family business. I mean, come on. Sue was there when Zane couldn't even get a meeting with a bank manager, let alone like President Chase himself.
And that's Zane's fatal error, right? Like, he's so confident in his own con, he tries to prove himself right then and there. Calls his father from the hospital room, as if daddy's just gonna swoop in and fix everything.
Talk about a record scratch moment. You could practically hear the crickets chirping as Zane's dad proceeds to, shall we say, clarify a few things. Namely, that Zane's been exaggerating a lot.
The look on everyone's faces, especially Rose, oh man, priceless. In that instant, Zane's whole facade, kaput, exposed as a fraud. And all that money means nothing in the face of the truth.
It's like the episode throws you a curveball, right? You think it's going to be about this awkward food thing, but it becomes this whole commentary about like how easily we get fooled by appearances, just like Rose. But here's the kicker. Alex is the only one who sees Zane's little charade fall apart.
And that's where things get really interesting. Suddenly, this guy who was practically laughed out of the room earlier is holding all the cards. The question is, what's he going to do with that knowledge?
Right. Will he try to expose Zane? Maybe. Like, earn some points with Rose even after that whole awkward encounter? Or does he use it? Does he see this as his chance to, gain some power for himself?
Classic dilemma. Stick to your principles, even if it means staying in the background. Or, play the game. Use this information to get ahead. This episode leaves us hanging, but it definitely makes you think, what would you do?
That's what I love about Millionaire, though. It's not just, oh, this guy got rich. It makes you think about your relationship with money, with status, what really makes someone successful.
100%. And on that note, we want to hear from you. Have you ever totally misjudged someone based on just surface stuff? What did you learn? Let us know. Keep those thoughts coming, and we'll catch you next time on Tales Unplugged for another deep dive into Millionaire.